comics in there, and the inserts, they get really slippery. So you really got to pin them in there. I'm surprised you know that. So yeah, and then your hours are weird, right? So your night starts at like midnight, and then it finishes up at like 5 or 6. And then he also had an air conditioning company too that he started, and we would go out and fix air conditioners and stuff, which is in Florida a very, very, very crappy job. You make less money than plumbers, electricians, carpenters, right? But you have to be able to do plumbing and electrician work and carpentry and drywall. You have to be able to do everyone else's job, but you don't get paid anymore for it, which is funny. And like working in an attic where it'll be 100 plus degrees outside and 90% humidity, and then it's you in an attic surrounded by fiberglass, which itches and doesn't wash off, and you can't prevent it from getting in every part of your body and itching. You can try and put baby powder on first, but it never worked for me. And then it's just you and your single light bulb up there. This was before LEDs, right? They weren't a thing. So you're up there alone in the heat. The roof has a million nails through it that if you sit up too high, you're getting a nail in the back, sweating to death. And then while you're in there, someone kicks the extension cord, and now you don't have any light, and it's dark. You just see like a little light coming through the roof. And when you yell, no one can hear you because the fiberglass like eats up all the sound. It's terrible, terrible, absolutely worst, crappiest job. I mean, roofing, because you have to breathe the tar, is pretty crappy too. Or if you're a plumber and someone sends a log down the pipe at you, I mean, I guess everyone's got their own version of what sucks. So right. I came from nothing, and I appreciate. I was eating McDonald's yesterday, and I was thinking, damn, this is delicious. I like McDonald's. I was raised on McDonald's. This tastes good. I don't need. I know what Michelin star restaurants taste like, and I know what McDonald's tastes like, and because I grew up with less, I appreciate. I don't need the silver spoon stuff. I do it because it's a little better, but I'm okay if I'm not.
So would you say that job was one of the important roles that made you want to become an entrepreneur, made you want to do your own stuff?
Well, I think, from the very beginning in school, everything was teamwork and working in teams. And then when I was growing up, everything was teamwork. So I was working with people from 5th grade all the way through my entire life, with everyone with different backgrounds. And then the funny thing is, in air conditioning, everyone's addicted to drugs. So everyone's got their license suspended. Everyone lives with their mom. Everyone is going to court for some reason soon. Everyone needs money, constantly broke, and they're all addicted to drugs, whether it's alcohol or crack. Crack was surprisingly popular amongst people I worked with. And you get funny stories out of it. Like, it turns out people that have crack addictions tend to have very interesting life experiences that you wouldn't know that you could have. Like when you drive into a certain part of the neighborhood that a normal person would never go, but that's where the crack is. A lot of weird, violent things happen over there. Like, you give them the money and they don't give you the drugs, and now you're fighting, in the car, punching in and out of it. Like, hilarious stories. But those guys don't live that long. So all the people, I guess one of them's still alive. So, but he's in jail. Florida sucks. It's a shithole. It's a violent, drug-riddled, hot. Nobody speaks English. I don't like it at all. So that's my experience growing up in Florida.
So after you did your own company and you essentially became an entrepreneur, and we're going to get back into that in a second. One question: how did you get involved in Bitcoin? When was like the first time?
So
how did you get involved?
When I did this car stereo store out of my front yard, got a store, hired all my friends. I was lucky they were smart because we all went to smart kid school. Then my buddy had a shopping cart, started selling that. Then he got a client that did mortgages, so then we started doing mortgage leads. Then I started a mortgage company. We did pay-per-click management. We did SEO. Then got up to 150 employees, sold anything that we could sell on the internet, grossed about $60 million a year. Wow. And this is I started this on my own. And it would take me about 2 years every business. So like my car stereo store was about 2 years. The search engine optimization was maybe about a year. And then everything else blew up. That took about 2 years. And then just didn't need to do it anymore. Like the money, you realize that money doesn't actually, once you make over 75 grand a year, the studies say you are not going to get any happier for more money. You're not going to get less happy. You're not going to get more happy. And my experience was, and particularly living in Florida, is that you're gonna get the shit robbed out of you. So, people just leave with hard drives, or you see people looking over other people's shoulders, steal data. You have to sue people and get injunctions because they're stealing your client list. It's just a ton of suck, right? And then lawyers, you give them money, but you never get money back. It's magical, right? A lawyer will do a wonderful job, but then when you look at the end totals, the lawyer made money and no one else made money. So, I called it quits and started traveling the world. So when you're traveling the world, this is around 2003, moved down to Panama, got the shit robbed out of me, moved to Argentina, did Europe for 4 years, Australia, just everywhere. I think I had to go like 20 different countries at least. Do about, if a country's big, you can play around in different cities there, maybe a month. If a country's small, you might only be able to do a week. So when you're browsing around, you got nothing to do. You got a lot of reading time and a lot of gaming time. So I was addicted to games for a good decade. Blew 10 years of my life on stupid games. I used to Reddit all the time, right? And on Reddit, I saw when Bitcoin was less than $1. And then I saw it when it was $1 and someone had sold their house for it. I think it was like 270 grand, maybe 170, but I think 270. And then, then I saw the Silk Road article. The price was like 10 or 12. And then when I got in, it was 30. I got to be part of the fucking absolute top that then went down to 1. And I was also mining at the same time because I was addicted to games. I had a really strong video card. It was a ATI 5970, which is a dual chip on one card. And they're like the two strongest chips on one single card. And then I, was able to mine full blocks by myself with 50 coin rewards. Didn't last very long because the difficulty got so high so quickly. So I pretty much, I heard about it on Reddit first, probably as early as anybody, under $1, but didn't get in. And then FOMO'd the top with everyone else that saw the Silk Road article. So you'd be surprised. You could be a very successful businessman, which I was, but you don't know anything about order books or liquidity or slippage or depth. And so when you are just FOMO the top, market buy it, had I been a week later or a week earlier, I'd have 10 times the money. It's fucked up, it's
it's when I first heard about it, I wanted to buy it, but I didn't know how.
Right.
And I was lucky. I was training and coaching a company, mentoring its owner, and his brother-in-law was into it, and that's how I got into it.
All right. What was the price when you got in? Roundabout? 2,500,
2,700.
That's pretty late, man.
Right before, it was a little bit before the summertime in 2017.
That's
so
pretty
I got
late.
in pretty late.
Yeah.
But I was working Forex before that. I was teaching technical analysis and stuff like that.
All right.
So I had some experience.
Yeah.
But I was teaching it, not doing it. So I experienced emotions and, it's for another story, but I can understand how you can FOMO.
Yeah, dude. Well, if FOMOing 2,500 and riding it to 20K is a pretty good deal. I
was FOMOing all the way into 17,000, man.
Yeah.
And I was buying dips.
Yeah. Buying dips is a great plan until the dips keep dipping. And you're like, oh, we dropped 45+%, 42 to 46% 3 times in 60 days, 40 days. You're like, wow, every dip buyer just got fucking destroyed, Yeah. And then
I thought we were going to bounce up from 12,000.
Our fake support at 6K, the fake 6K support, the dead cat that opened the trapdoor. And so I have a trading channel. It's t.me/Strape Charts. There's 2,000 people in there. And, I said, when trapdoor, right? Because we just got lower, high, lower, high, lower, high, lower, high. You're like, well, what happens when you can't bounce at all anymore, right? And that thing went and dropped 50% plus in a couple days, right? And so my theory on why that happened is someone was defending the $100 billion market cap is what I think was occurring there. Because that graph shape has never been seen before in Bitcoin.